Hi everyone, Stacy Heisman here for GI Jobs Magazine, and today I have a fantastic guest coming to us from Tulsa, Oklahoma. His name is Chris Vargas. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Chris, if you can't tell by his shirt, he actually works for a company called Melton Truck Lines, and he's got a great story for us today he's going to share. But before we get started on today, your present job, let's talk a little bit about your military experience. What did you do? What branch were you in? How long were you in? Just give me all the details.
Okay, well, I was actually in the Army for about 12 years. I was an ammunition specialist for starting off. Then I actually went into recruiting from there. So 12 years, and decided to get out after that. Once I saw kind of the civilian world, what they all had to offer. I joined when I was 17 and got out when I was pretty much 30. So my entire 20s was spent in the military. So kind of wanted to see what else was out there.
Well, and I think you did, but then working for a trucking company. And is this? Let me ask you a question. Was this the first job you had when you got out of the service, or did you have other jobs?
This was my first job.
Your very first job. So, what did you when you work for ammunitions? When you did ammunitions, how is that similar to what you're doing now? You mentioned before there's some similarities. Tell me a little bit about those similarities.
All right, so when I was in the military, I dealt with ammunition and flatbedding, especially because we had to strap it down and put tarps on it to make sure it didn't get wet or anything like that for just making sure you can go to the range. And here at Melton, we're a flatbed company, so we train people how to do flatbed for the civilian world, hauling all kinds of different stuff like equipment and like AC units and stuff like that.
I love how you were able to leverage your experience in the military and bring that to the civilian world. Let's talk a little bit about what you do today. And I think it's fascinating. You actually train, and I mean your position, if I get it right, is lead orientation supervisor, but you actually train folks for CDL licenses. Is that right?
I don't train for CDL license. They do have
Okay,
to do us with a CDL license.
got it. Okay.
But there are several different types of trucking with the CDL license. There's tanker, there's flatbed, there's dry van, and there's like intermodal and stuff like that. It's a little more specialized. But we specialize in just the flatbed. So anything that'll go on the back of the flatbed that requires securement.
Got it. Now where I'm just asking questions because I just love this. I love to explore new fields since I don't know too much about it. Tell me, where actually do you guys get you're located out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, but do people have to come for you for specialized training, or do you?
Yes.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that process. If a veteran is interested in joining Melton Truck Lines.
Okay, so if a veteran's interested in joining Melton Truck Lines, you have to get your CDL first. You get that through a trucking school. If certain jobs in the military will give you a skills waiver, like for the Army, an 88 mic transportation specialist, if they drive tractor trailer with a fifth wheel, they can actually get a skills test waiver from their unit that they can just get their CDL that way quickly. So once they get that, they come to us and we train them how to do the flatbed portion, securing coils and different types of plate steels and steel products on the back of flatbeds. We bring them here, we train them for about 2 weeks. That extensive training, you're out there in the heat and the cold, what it is, because flatbedding is something that you get out of that truck and you actually get to go out and work.
Now, we were talking that there is a driver shortage everywhere. Why would you recommend this field and your company to a veteran out there?
One of the things that I love about Melton Truck Lines in particular is a quarter of our drivers and our office employees are all veterans. So we're a very veteran-friendly company. And just that entire atmosphere and culture is something that me as a veteran, when I got out and I came to it's like, this is the home that I was looking for. It's very familiar to the military with the industry itself. Like the language and the people that are in it are very, very similar. And a lot of people get out of the military and go into trucking because they just really like the atmosphere and it pays really well.
Well, we like the fact that it pays really well, right? And there's always a bonus if it has a similar culture, right?
Right.
That's what most veterans are looking for when they get out. Let's talk about how you found this job, because I think this job is interesting that you found it online. Is that right?
I did actually. I found it through LinkedIn. That's one of the ones I built my profile on there, and I send it all over the place trying to find places. And one of the big things that got me into this company was not only did I just apply for it, but I actually followed up afterwards. I sent an email saying, "Hey, thank you for the interview. Just get my name at the top of their list and remembering me at the end of the day." And they called me back, and I started as a recruiter. And I started in recruiting, did all the recruiting, went into compliance from there just to learn as much as I could, and then moved into training where I was able to use my military experience to do what I do now.
I love this story because I think it tells that no matter what industry you want to work in, how valuable social media and companies like LinkedIn are to every industry across the board. Is there any advice that you would give? It sounds like you had a little nugget in there to share, but is there any other broader advice that you would share with veterans thinking about getting out right now?
Definitely look into everything that's out there and what you want to do. On military, and there's a lot of different jobs that we've done. I had like 5 different jobs just being an ammunition specialist. So you just got to make sure you find what you really want to do. And there's millions of jobs out here right now. You just got to find one that you want to do and just follow up and apply. And whenever you do your resume, make sure your resume is towards the job you're wanting.
So that's really good advice. Make sure it's a targeted resume and make sure you follow up because you need to stand out among the many who are applying for that job. And it sounds like follow up kind of did you right. So
Definitely.
the very last piece, this is just, you know, a fun part of it, but is there any, what was the most challenging part transitioning from the military into the civilian world? Is there anything you can think of that was really challenging for you?
The main challenging thing was the cultural change. Like being in the military from the 17 to 30, basically, that was my life, the discipline, that being up every morning, being in formation and all that, and just coming into a world where nobody's really paying attention to what you're doing. You got to be at work on time on your own and do your job, and nobody's checking up on you except for your boss. So it's
So
really
a
right.
little forced independence, which is kind of nice,
Yeah,
right? I mean, I love it.
right.
But actually, what's interesting is that, you know, again, you just validate what everybody feels when they get out of this into the civilian world, that it's not quite as structured as it was. And you have to kind of find the self motivation within to be able to do the job in front of you, right?
Definitely. That's one of the things I love about being like trucking and flatbedding is that it has some of that structure. It gives you some of that structure back. Like we're gonna make sure that
Okay.
you got a load on your truck. We're gonna get you to your destination. You're gonna unload. We're gonna get you another load going to the next place. There you still have some of that structure, which is really helpful.
Well, it sounds very helpful, and Chris, I love your story so much because I think it really speaks to being able to leverage your experience into the civilian world, and more importantly, it talks about how you can use. It really speaks to how you use social media, no matter what industry you're going into. It's very important, and remember to follow up. Right.
Definitely.
All right, Chris Vargas with Melton Truck Lines over in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and thank you for spending your morning with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Stacy.
All right, everyone, for GI Jobs, I'm Stacy Heisman. We'll talk to you soon.